kind of ironic that a white man is wearing a woman for Trump and a feminist for Trump when I consider myself a feminist. And
you just assume my gender? You said white man.
Okay, I see your point there.
How do you know I'm not a woman?
I see your point.
You need to check your white privilege, your white female privilege, I think.
You think?
A little bit. I actually identify as a non-binary, gender-fluid dragonkin.
Are you trying to make up, are you just trying to be funny now?
Like part dragon, like I can breathe fire, and sometimes I flap my wings and I whoosh into the sky.
Now that's a 4D chess there that just shows you how far gone society is. Welcome back, beautiful and amazing human beings. My name is Zurkadowski here of wearechange.org, and there's a lot of absolutely crazy and wild news to get into today, as of course we even have mafioso bosses coming out and talking about how far gone our current political system is, as of course the situation in the Middle East just gets a lot more tumultuous with the left eating itself in not a very advantageous way for the upcoming presidential 2024 presidential elections. We're going to talk about that plus a lot more. If you like the shirt that I'm wearing, you could get it on TheBestPoliticalShirts.com. And the clip that we played in the beginning of this broadcast is being shared around by a lot of people on social media, but I'm pretty sure it's the guy. Yeah, it is. It's the guy from the Whatever podcast, which we are, of course, going to be linking his channel down in the description below. As this social justice reverse Uno card was absolutely freaking hilarious, and it's cool to see other content creators hitting the streets. So definitely go check out the Whatever podcast show. The link, of course, will be down in the description below. As of course, the far leftist woke ideology is implementing a Build Back Better Great Reset situation that, of course, denies people cheap, readily available energy that they are slowly limiting to the rest of humanity, all for environmental, social justice causes, when in reality, this will only impoverish and make life that much more difficult for some of the poorest people in the world. This in related reducing the carbon news, we also have the not surprising story coming out of Los Angeles, California, where there is a suspected lunatic out there that is going out and taking out homeless people. Now, no, we still don't know what he looks like. We still don't know if it's Gavin Newsom, even though he looks like that type of person that would do something like this, especially if a communist leader is coming into town. But now we are having multiple reports of homeless people that are going missing or are never heard from again. This as in related mafioso-like activity, we now have a former Gambino mob boss coming out and saying that the president's son, Hunter Biden, would be on track to receive, quote, 20 life sentences for his alleged crimes if he wasn't the president's son. Words from, of course, Sammy the Bull, who came out and described how federal government agents and the corporate media were not speaking out against the Biden family because, quote, they could lose their jobs. As he also came out and criticized the president's immigration policies that he described of definitely not spreading any love and respect in New York. This as in related no love and respect news in New York. The congressman from Long Island, George Santos, over the weekend was also ousted by many of his fellow Republican colleagues that voted him out, and for the first time in history expelled a member of Congress without a conviction or without committing treason. This as he was accused of course, taking donor funds and using it on adult websites, which is absolutely nothing compared to the large levels of criminality committed by federal government officials that use your tax dollars in order to traffic thousands of small children for the personal use and benefit of some really sinister, awful human beings that we can't mention here on this particular broadcast. This is now a CIA whistleblower came out and said that there's no reason why we don't know the individuals who were on the flight logs to this private island, with individuals like this who clearly participated in such escapades that deserved to be criticized, but sadly are not enough on the corporate media that colluded with these horrible, sinister individuals, and that's why we created TheBestPoliticalShirts.com to express these ideas to the general public in ways that cannot be censored on social media. Now, of course, this is one of many shirts that we have surrounding this particular idea, as even a lot of these shirts were censored on multiple platforms, which is absolutely crazy. Of course, we made sure that some of the most controversial, hot, and spicy shirts are still available on TheBestPoliticalShirts.com. That we have some really incredible shirts and expressions of ideas that make the perfect gifts this holiday season, especially if you're looking for picking out a gift that might include a shirt, long sleeve shirts, women's shirts, tank tops, you name it. We got it. Hoodies, sweatshirts, accessories, hats, homeware. We got it all. Only available on, of course, TheBestPoliticalShirts.com. The one I'm wearing right now also has a lot of people thinking about the crazy things that happened within the last 3 years. We just released another very controversial and spicy shirt with this slogan that is getting a lot of people investigated in Ireland. And we released a special version only for members of LukeAndFiltered.com that could get this t-shirt with an extra little message on the shirt store for members of LukeAndFiltered.com that, by the way, get all exclusive designs that they can't get anywhere else, with shirts available at cost for them with little to no profit at all for us. Another incentive of signing up to LukeAndFiltered.com. But yeah, the shirts don't cost too much and they make perfect gifts, especially if you have someone that supports the LGBTQ in your family, where hopefully you could put a smile on their face while doing your lazy form of activism and reaching out to people in your local community and finding out who's with you and who's not, as these shirts are perfect representations of understanding where you stand with people on some very important issues that aren't always easy to talk about, but are very awesome and easy to express on TheBestPoliticalShirts.com. You haven't gone there? Click the link right now in the description below and pick up a shirt for your loved one this holiday season, as of course, you want to make sure that they get there before Christmas. A lot of shirts are selling out. Get them now while supplies last on TheBestPoliticalShirts.com. This, as the situation on the world stage is becoming more and more unstable, as today we are also getting a lot of reports of Western-backed ships and military naval vessels being attacked, specifically in the Middle East, as tensions are, quote, spiraling over the situation currently unfolding right now in Gaza, where ceasefire has been ended and the larger bombardment and military clashes have unfolded in the region. This, as in the Straits of Hormuz and territory within the Red Sea, specifically surrounding the territory of Yemen, saw a lot of very serious escalations of conflicts between predominantly Iranian-backed Houthi rebels in Yemen and any kind of Western ship trying to make its way through the tight corridors of this specific passage. This is now we are hearing reports of a British-owned ship that was just struck by a rocket near Yemen, as well as other reports coming in now of an American warship with multiple other commercial vessels being under attack in the Red Sea. This, according to the latest reports released by the U.S. Pentagon. What's to blame for these attacks? Of course, a lot of people are pointing the finger at the larger escalation of tensions inside of Gaza right now, as the current Prime Minister of Israel just announced that he will continue the absolute annihilation of Hamas in the region, as Israel has just continued heavy bombardment in the region, as they are ordering more people in the crowded area to evacuate, as they launch some very severe airstrikes in the region, with Max Blumenthal recently reporting that an entire residential building was wiped off of the map after Israeli airstrikes specifically decided to go after residential buildings that Qatar built for individuals who lost their homes from previous aggressive measures made by the Israeli government, which Israel now decided to bomb when it just withdrew from talks in Qatar, where many of the Hamas political leadership resides in right now. This as today we are also getting a lot of horrors of the people who have been kidnapped by Hamas and the grueling situations that they had to go through under captivity, as of course some of the hostages have been released, some of the other hostages are still being kept. This as today many Muslims in swing states have gathered in order to criticize the current Biden administration for standing with Israel, as some Israel supporters are also criticizing the Biden administration for not standing with the Israeli government and the IDF, as the United States government sent out a message saying that they do not support the Israeli operation currently ongoing in South Gaza because they, quote, haven't factored in all the additional civilians that have been moved into that specific region and location. This as The Intercept is also reporting that there's a, quote, big money operation happening within Washington, D.C. that is purging critics of Israel from the Democratic Party, as U.S. Congresswoman AOC also is facing a very similar situation to the Biden administration that is also being heavily criticized by both sides. Now, AOC did call out some of the bigotry and racism that she's seen at rallies for Palestine inside of Times Square, but it was her and the squad that just voted for a resolution that essentially equates criticism of the Israeli state and its current location with, quote, anti-Semitism. One of the few people that voted against it was U.S. Representative Thomas Macy, as he criticized the resolution that the squad voted for because it, quote, equates anti-Zionism with anti-Semitism, which he said he personally disagreed with. Now, AOC voted in favor of this bill, as of course we're also learning about the very alleged serious clashes that she had with the former Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi, that allegedly there was no love affair with. This, as it's fair to say that the Democratic Party is becoming more divided than ever over the issues currently unfolding right now inside of the Middle East, as online internet commentator Joe Rogan even came out and described the very awful situation for the Democratic Party that is not pragmatic at all. And pretty much the only card they have to play is that they want to imprison the former president of the United States. As Joe Rogan came out and said that the Democratic Party is, quote, depending upon Trump getting convicted, arrested, and imprisoned, going on and saying this.
And they're looking at this game, and I don't know, I think they're depending upon party loyalty. And they're depending upon Trump getting convicted and arrested. I mean, and imprisoned, rather. I don't know if that's going to happen. I don't think it is. It doesn't seem to. It just seems like it's a bunch of trumped up charges. No pun intended.
Yeah, I mean, again, I'm not a political commentator. I'm not an expert. It does seem like really like, why are they going after him so hard right now when they could have done it, you know, like the hotel thing or the valuation of the property from 20 years ago.
It's bananas.
Right.
The valuation of the property is so obvious, so off what it should be. $18 million for Mar-a-Lago.
This, as those comments do ring true to a party establishment that has absolutely failed the American people and has, even in my opinion, gone out further to implement some of the most unpopular, unfavorable policies for the American middle class that has been absolutely eviscerated by them. Essentially, when you look at this administration, you see a puppet administration, just like the many others before it, that implemented a lot of globalist, a lot of internationalist, a lot of corporatist policies that absolutely are meant to destroy peace, sanctity, health, and wealth in this country. Prove me wrong otherwise, as right now, the Democratic Party, that of course loves their position of power, will do everything to hold on to it, is in a very desperate, dangerous, cornered situation. How will they lash out in order to keep their positions of power? Well, that's something that we are going to be looking out for in the next upcoming presidential election. What do you think is going to be happening next? Let me know down in the comment section below. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you guys actively buying the t-shirts, supporting this independent media organization, and because you do, this is why I love you guys. Stay tuned for more here on wearechange.org. By the way, 3 podcasts this Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, all 7 p.m. Eastern here on this YouTube channel. Lots of really incredible guests coming on this upcoming week. Stay tuned for that and a lot more. Love you guys. Stay tuned for more.